Cottonwood buds are really well known for their pain relieving properties when you use it topically on sore muscles and body aches and pains and things like that. But did you know it's actually really quite amazing when it comes time for cold and flu season? You can actually use this to alleviate respiratory congestion. So in today's video, I'm gonna teach you how you can take spring cottonwood buds and make them into a tincture that you can use for the rest of the year when cold or flu comes your way. So if you really like this kind of stuff and you want to learn more of these things, definitely hit the subscribe button below, click the little bell, be in the know when I've got a new video coming up, and stay tuned and learn how to make cottonwood tincture. So one thing about cottonwood buds that I find to be really, really cool is in the springtime, a lot of people think that they're dealing with allergies to cottonwood buds, but in reality, it very well may be just some other grasses that are coming up and releasing their pollens at the exact same time. So what I love about that is that this stuff is so beneficial for a dry, raspy, hot, irritated throat. So these are the little buds and they're pretty stinking amazing. I've got better pictures. Maybe I'll put those up for you. But they smell like absolute heaven. And those aromatics and volatile oils can be really helpful for the respiratory tract, as well as for your digestive system when it comes to tummy upset and bloating, things like that. And we're making a cottonwood bud tincture today because cottonwood bud tincture can do a really wonderful job of creating more mucosal protection for the respiratory tract, particularly if you've got that dry, really hot, sore throat kind of thing going on. It can also be really, really nice if you're really phlegmy and congested and you just can't breathe and can't get that kind of stuff up. Cottonwood buds are gonna help you expectorate or get all of that gnarly, nasty phlegm out of your body. And while the buds are most prevalent in the middle of or at the end of winter or very early spring, when you tincture them, you're able to keep that medicine with you for many years to come. Another great benefit when it comes to like cold and flu season is that cottonwood bud really does a great job of promoting circulation. So it's gonna warm you up on the fingers and the toes or the extremities of your body. And it can even help promote a bit of a sweat. So that's something you might wanna think of. It's like your body releasing heat during maybe times of fever or something like that. So there's really a lot of benefits that go to the cottonwood bud tincture. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's figure out exactly how you can make a cottonwood bud tincture. All right, so let's get into it and make this cottonwood bud tincture. So the first thing you're gonna need is a jar and maybe a scale or something else to measure with because we're going to be doing this in parts. We have fresh cottonwood buds, which is also a very important part of making a fresh cottonwood bud tincture. And we're gonna do it by weight because that's how I do. I happen to have this big fancy scale. It's what I use when I blend my herbal teas and such, but you can use any kind of little kitchen scale. You could also decide to be like, oh, I have a 1/4 cup of cottonwood buds. I'm going to do that as my part differentiation. So for this particular recipe, we're doing 1 part of fresh cottonwood buds to 2 parts of menstruum. So the cottonwood buds are called our mark. The menstruum is our alcohol. And we are doing 190 proof pure organic cane alcohol to extract the resins from our cottonwood buds in this particular tincture. I get my alcohol from a wonderful company in Ashland, Oregon called Organic Alcohol Company. If you can't go there, that's totally fine. Go to your local store, your liquor store, and get yourself some Everclear. You do want a very high percentage of alcohol here. So because this is 190 proof alcohol, that means it's going to be 95% alcohol, almost 100%. So that's really good to know. Before I get into making this though, I do want to let you know that you can do this with dried cottonwood buds as well. And under those circumstances, you're going to make sure that your cottonwood buds have been dried thoroughly. And then you're going to do 1 part mark the cottonwood buds to 5 parts of the menstruum, the alcohol that you're going to extract this in. And that could be as low as 70%, 70, 80% there. So keep that in mind, you can do it that way. Awesome, so let's do this. Let's make our fresh Cottonwood Bud Tincture. So I've got my jar, I've got it on my scale. It's really important to remember to tare your scale when you put your jar on there, or you're going to end up weighing it and your jar, and your measurements are going to be off, and you're gonna be all flustered and flabbergasted and upset. So I have 59 grams of cottonwood bud, and for the sake of easy math, we're gonna call that 60 grams, because really, do I wanna just be like, oh, 59, oh, look how. It's highly likely I'm not gonna get the perfect ratio anyways. So what that means then is I need to tare the scale again, get it back to 0, and I now know that I am aiming for 120 grams or milliliters of my menstruum, my liquid, my alcohol that I'm choosing 95% for the recipe. So I've tared this out, and I'm not gonna show you the scale because I won't see my 120. And if I don't see my 120, my ratios are gonna be way off, and nobody wants that. So, alcohol, you're going into my jar. We're at 50. Ooh, this is gonna be a perfect jar. There is 122. I went over a little bit of 95% alcohol, 122 grams. So that is my 1 to 2 approximately ratio. And now I put the lid on it. And I am going to let this sit for a minimum of 2 weeks. I'll shake it, I'll sing to it, I'll love it. I'll thank it for being incredible medicine for me and my family as the season goes on. And you know what else I'll do that's really, really important? I'll label it. And here is how I am going to label my Cottonwood Bud Tincture with tape and a Sharpie. Also, very important friends to have around in an herbalist world. So I know that this is cottonwood. This is actually poplar, gosh, the name, it's black cottonwood. I know that today is March 11th, 2021. I know that I did a 1 to 2 ratio. So I write the 1 to 2 ratio in 95% alk, which would mean that 40 or 5% water. And that is how you want to label your tinctures. You've got your name of your plant, you've got your name of, or the date and the ratios and all of that good stuff on there. And look at that. It looks really pretty, especially if the camera angle can come back on this side where you can see the sun coming through maybe. Yeah, so pretty. All of that resin is already beginning to be extracted, which is so freaking cool. There you have it. We've got a wonderful resin-rich cottonwood bud tincture in the works. In 2 weeks plus, this will be ready to rock. You can keep the cottonwood buds in there for a while. So if you love learning this kind of stuff, be sure to tune in to my video on how to gather cottonwood buds. I also did a live video where we did a live class on making cottonwood oil. So if you're into live classes as well, join me over in my Facebook group, The Herbalist Path. You can tune into my podcast, The Herbalist Path. And yeah, Here's to making much more great medicine. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button if you like the video, and share it with your friends so that together we can make herbalism spread like wildflowers. Bye.